Welcome to World of Fire. The flame has always been more than light, more than heat. It is creation and destruction. It is memory and discovery. From ancient myths to modern science, from the fires that shaped history to the sparks that shape tomorrow. This is the story of fire, and I will be your guide. Have you ever thought about fire? A candle, a campfire, a stove, a fireplace? We've known it since we were children. We think we understand it. But fire isn't always what it seems. Sometimes it's soft, almost comforting. Other times it strikes. Sharp, sudden, frightening. It can smolder for hours or engulf everything in seconds. Why? What makes one fire calm and another unstoppable? It's not a mood. Fire always depends on conditions, on what surrounds it, on what feeds it, and on how we treat it. But most of all, on how it begins. With fuel. Fire doesn't always need a spark. Sometimes it starts on its own. No flame, no warning. Certain materials ignite from within, through chemistry or physics. No external heat, just their nature. We call it spontaneous combustion, and yes, it happens. In homes, in warehouses, in workshops, in places where no one expects fire, and still, it comes. Sometimes the air helps it, sometimes it happens without it, and sometimes we never know why. Just ash and questions. But this we know. Every fire starts with fuel. Fire doesn't always act the same. Sometimes it's calm, sometimes sudden, too fast. And it all depends on what's burning. When a solid burns, wood, paper, fabric, plastic, it may smolder, smoke, or drip molten drops. It depends on the material. When a liquid burns, gasoline, oil, solvents, it can flare up instantly, or spread quietly, and ignite somewhere unexpected. Gas is even trickier. Propane, methane, hydrogen. Its flame can be almost invisible in daylight. The fire is there, but by the time someone notices, it's too late. What's burning shapes what the fire becomes. That's why firefighters divide fires into classes, not just by what burns, but by how to stop it. Each one is different, and what puts out one kind of fire might make another one worse. Fire speaks in color. Color tells us the temperature. Blue is the hottest, up to 1500 degrees Celsius. That's the color of a gas flame. Yellow is softer, from 1000 to 1100 degrees, like a candle or a campfire. White means near perfect burning, no soot, almost no trace. That's what welding looks like, or a jet engine. The hottest fire ever recorded on Earth reached 3000 degrees Celsius, an acetylene-oxygen reaction, and yes, the flame was white. Green and violet appear when metals burn, or they're salts. There, the color doesn't mean heat, it means chemistry. But some flames you should never look at. Magnesium. Welding arcs. Their light is blinding, so bright it can damage your sight. Permanently. That's not a warning, that's a fact. Everything you see, color, shape, movement, is just a result. Fire begins with air, with energy, and with fuel. But there are places where fire doesn't rise, barely glows, hardly gives off heat. I'll show you fire that depends on neither air nor earth. The fire we know belongs to Earth. It breathes air, it rises upward, it gives off heat, and sometimes leaves behind soot. But there's a kind of flame that doesn't rise and leaves no smoke at all. No campfires burn on the sun. But still, it blazes. It's light, blinding. It's heat, felt across millions of kilometers. Does that mean it's on fire? Almost, but not like it is here. On Earth, fire breathes oxygen, but the sun has no air. There's no chemistry, only physics. Matter itself is changing, and from that change comes light. Inside the sun, fusion never stops. Hydrogen atoms collide. They fuse into helium and release energy. That energy is what makes the sun what it is. A star's color tells us its temperature. Blue stars are the hottest. White, slightly cooler. Red and orange, the coolest of all. A star isn't just a light in the sky. It's a body of fire, with its own rules, its own nature. Now, fire in space, where there's no up, no gravity, no flow of air. In that stillness, flame doesn't rise. It doesn't flicker. It becomes a sphere. It floats, weightless. It pulses, as if it breathes, but only within itself. Fire isn't alive, but it senses its surroundings. It changes, the moment the world around it changes. You've seen fire that dances, that trembles, that floats in space. But there is another kind. It doesn't move. It hides in smoke, in ceilings, in the air, in the walls. One waits to inhale, another to ignite, a third to break free. This isn't fire. It's the waiting where fire takes shape. Come, I'll show you how it arrives.